In this video, administrators, teachers, and students will be given steps to begin a successful recycling program or expand your existing recycling in the school. In Pennsylvania, most communities of 5,000 or more are required to recycle. And schools within those communities must recycle high-grade office paper, corrugated cardboard, and aluminum cans in addition to any other material designated by the municipality. Whether required to or not, you'll find that recycling is cost-effective, provides wonderful educational opportunities, and is simply the right thing to do. Since this generation has grown up with recycling, why not continue what's become second nature at home, at school? Even though the Bedminster Elementary School is in a rural area where recycling is not mandated by law, these third graders can't remember a time when they didn't recycle their beverage containers through a unique program with Rosenberger Dairies.
It has proved to be a very beneficial program both for the students and the community in grades K through 12. The bottles are recyclable. They are approximately used 150 to 200 times before they are sent to a recycling place to be put into other products. The students have accepted this program very well. It has decreased our trash cost tremendously. Our estimates are at least half of our trash cost.
You too should see a significant drop in waste disposal costs with recycling in place. Here are some steps to get you started. The first thing you should do is seek top-level support. Look to your school principal, school board, or senior management in a university setting for guidance in dealing with union issues and private garbage hauling contracts. Call on those top-level managers to suggest individuals who might sit on a recycling committee. Once this committee is in place, select one person to take on the role of recycling coordinator.
Recycling, this is Ken. May I help you?
At Temple University in Philadelphia, it's Ken Murder, who's in the housekeeping department.
What room number was that again?
And at the Susquehanna Elementary School outside of Harrisburg, art teacher and recycling coordinator Mrs. Rick and the recycling committee have big plans. Their latest goal is to build a permanent storage shed for their recyclables. Make sure there is consensus among committee members as to the goals and time frames for the startup or expansion of recycling. Once your committee and coordinator are in place, the next step is to talk to your waste hauler and take a hard look at what it is you're taking to a landfill or a waste-to-energy plant, and then divert it. Schools generate lots of paper in the classroom, and even sensitive front office information, if shredded, can be recycled. And cardboard is easy to collect too. Books can be donated or recycled and made into new books. Here at the Bell Valley Elementary School just outside of Erie, students collect food scraps like these green beans that didn't go over too well with the lunchtime crowd. Every day they haul the scraps from the cafeteria to their garden, where a compost bin is set up. They turn the scraps and eventually produce compost to use back in the garden. And even man-made materials, including plastics, can be turned into all kinds of new products, including recycling bins. Your yard waste can be chipped and used as mulch in campus landscaping.
Recycle your computers, give them away to people. You also have other items that can be recycled. Furniture, used typewriters, anything that can be recycled is recyclable. And it can go to other organizations that are in desperate need of it.
At Temple, they take surplus materials to the Building Materials Exchange, which is within a mile of campus.
In the Building Materials Exchange, over half the material here has been donated from salvage operations across the city and several county area. This paint is all recycled. It would have gone to waste otherwise. Tremendous amount of material, including many of the kitchen cabinets and toilet fixtures, would have been in landfills if it weren't for the Building Materials Exchange and the thoughtfulness of our donors.
Temple doesn't let their food go to waste either. It's carefully separated and sent to a pig farm. While your school administration should look at ways to recycle, it's also up to individuals within a school to take on recycling, like Bedminster Elementary speech teacher Mr. Wozer, who takes cereal bowls home with him and recycles them.
over the course of the year, we keep a running total, and we make periodic reports to the kids during morning announcements explaining and telling about how many bottles or how many cereal containers we've recycled and what they can be doing with them as far as an end product.
And don't forget the always in demand aluminum can. We repeat, aluminum cans should not, we repeat, not be overlooked. Here at the Susquehanna Elementary School outside of Harrisburg, students bring cans to school. Then they crush them and cash them in. First, they purchased a computer. Then they purchased a VCR for their environmental education room. And in between, they bought several trees for their wetland study area and, of course, all kinds of critters for the environmental education room. And they purchased the food for their animals from the proceeds of their cans. Discussions in this room often turn to recycling.
Why should we recycle newspapers? Why should we recycle cans?
Not only do you need to know your waste stream, you need to know what the market is for materials that can be recycled. Here at the BFI Recyclery in King of Prussia, Lori Cagnoli explains what they do in their Materials Recovery Facility, or MRF, a place where recyclables are taken.
The way the material is processed here is it's fed onto a conveyor belt, and it's an assembly-like process where we're pulling the material by hand by type of material. Ideally, what we'd like to see come in here is clean office paper, cardboard, bottles, and cans. One of the biggest problems we have at this facility is that we get a lot of trash mixed in, a lot of food waste, and a lot of other material that people mix in with the recycling just because perhaps maybe they're not careful enough or perhaps they're not sure what goes in the recycling bin. Technically, I could say that almost anything is recyclable, but what we're looking for here are those materials that we actually have a market for.
Teachers often take field trips to the BFI Recyclery. It's important to get the message into all levels of a curriculum. Whether in an elementary school setting or at the university level, recycling provides a rich opportunity for hands-on environmental learning. At Temple, the engineering school is working on a project to make it easier to collect plastics at the curbside and easier to bring those plastics to market. Your container should be functional and fit in with the setting. When placed outdoors, containers should be shielded from the elements. In an executive office, they should fit in with the decor. But they can also look nice and cost pennies to produce. Souderton area high school students who are part of Students Against Violating the Earth, or SAVE, make these containers for each classroom out of cardboard boxes. No matter what kind of container, it's critical that members of your housekeeping or janitorial staff be in on the planning and execution of the program. And once collected, materials need to be stored properly and in an area that's easily accessible for pickup. You might consider locking containers with valuable commodities. And of course, good signs can make or break a program. Continuing education is the key to any successful program. In Souderton, a private for-profit company called Paper Chase picks up used white paper and then drops off fresh white recycled paper. Company President Dave Smith periodically visits the school to educate and to re-educate.
Ink, as you can see, is not a problem, but when you get into material like this and newspaper and other lower grade papers, you start to add a whole lot of contamination into the process that has to be cleaned out, and you're left with relatively less fiber to make back into paper.
In Souderton, SAVE members have gotten into education in a big way. They secured donations and funding to build this demonstration house and compost garden, complete with furniture made from recycled wood and plastic. And they've set up displays with products made from recycled materials. SAVE students teach younger students about recycling and environmental issues, and they have frequent brainstorming sessions.
Now what we got to do is make sure that the people give us their products, and that starts with some education school-wide, starting with the students, through the faculty, and even the custodial staff. So commercial's good.
In Pittsburgh, schools have mobilized around a public-private partnership called Wastebusters. The city, in conjunction with a private firm, has developed educational programs that they have taken into schools, like Spring Hill Elementary. Here, these fifth graders were trained by a Wastebusters instructor to work with younger children and teach them about recycling.
Who recycles at home? Good. Does anyone know what recycling means?
On this day, Johnny and Kayla make up the green team.
Perfect. What are some things we can recycle at home? Good.
In addition to continually educating students and staff, surprise inspections can be turned into one-on-one educational opportunities.
Katie? I'm
Yes.
Ken from Recycling. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing an audit through your building here. I'm just going to check to see how you're doing on recycling.
Sure.
Okay? Uh-oh. These don't go. This goes into the regular recycling bin, okay? Only thing that goes in here are regular trash, tissues and stuff like that. Just remember that once a week we have trash pickup. That's on a Friday. Let me leave you this, okay? And then when you finish with that, could you pass that around to the other people in the building?
Sure, thank you very much.
Okay? Have a good day.
You too.
And while education and promotion of your program are vital, another important component is keeping track of your progress and keeping success stories visible. Your administration should be committed to closing the loop by buying paper, office supplies, and even furniture made from recycled materials. It's best to have a formal buy recycled policy in place. Administrators here at Temple are looking at the benefits of buying outdoor furniture made out of recycled plastics instead of wood from trees. From office supplies to carpeting, make sure that buying recycled is given serious consideration in your school. You can look to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection's website for all kinds of ideas. The site is at www.dep.state.pa.us. Once there, just click on the Recycling Works logo for all kinds of information. You can also download the guidelines to become a Pennsylvania Waste Watcher Award winner, or ask the hotline operator for an application. And each county has a recycling coordinator who is there to get you started and support you along the way.
When school districts or any institution really is interested in developing or expanding their own recycling programs, it's really one of the resources that they have available to them is the recycling coordinator that's available in each county in Pennsylvania. And if they were to contact us, we can provide them with suggestions as to where they might want to look at other similar institutions that they can see what kind of program they have, or we have materials available ourselves that we can provide them to give them ideas as to how to go about developing a program within their own school district.
If you don't have access to the internet, you can find out who your county coordinator is and receive information about recycling by calling the state's recycling hotline at 1-800-346-4242. Each of Pennsylvania's 501 school districts has a recycling coordinator. Contact the Department of Education to find out who your coordinator is. So let's review our recycling lessons. Approach your principal, school board, or administration about starting a recycling program. Designate a recycling committee and one individual to serve as the recycling coordinator, who will develop a budget and time frame for your program. Assess your waste stream to determine what materials are marketable in your area and what materials can be diverted for other uses. Figure out the kinds of bins you will use, who will be responsible for collecting the recyclables, and work on making clear signs. Then develop a budget and plan and submit them to your administration for modifications or approval. Once approved, share the plan with staff and students, and then keep educating and develop promotional materials. Make sure that you track and report on progress and problems, and work toward closing the recycling loop by implementing buy recycled purchasing policies. You should know that your school is not alone. Call on your county recycling coordinator or visit the DEP website for more information and resources, including the contact information for your county's recycling coordinator. or call the state's recycling hotline at 1-800-346-4242. You can also call the Department of Education to find out who your school district's recycling coordinator is. Besides saving money on your waste disposal costs, recycling just makes sense. Recycling. Make it happen at your school.